Hey everybody. Welcome to this week's podcast. We are at episode 10. And this is, of course, the weekly podcast. We do this every single Friday where we talk about the top news of the week in the maker space, robotics space, games, arcade, esports, and, of course, SurrogateTV news. This week I'm here with this dude you've seen before on previous podcasts.
Yes, the guy behind, the voice behind everything usually. Alexi.
The voice behind everything.
It is Alexi.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? The voice behind everything?
The voice behind the podcast, you know. When you see me,
that's
you
true.
Hear me.
Yeah, if you hear him in the background, it's usually Alexi and Essa. Essa's in the background right now. But yeah, now he's actually showing his face. He's coming out to the world.
I've been on before.
Yes, I know.
I see what you did.
It was a play on words, though.
I see what you did.
For those who caught that. So yeah, this is episode 10 of the Ninja Robot Podcast. Alexi's popping bottles over here.
It's Friday.
The top news of this week that I could find that was interesting enough to bring up on the podcast: Boeing is building the world's most powerful deep space rocket. NASA is sending astronauts back to the moon on Mars atop the biggest rocket in history. Boeing reveals why its space launch system, the SLS, will shape our deep space future. When NASA sends the first woman and the next man to the moon, those astronauts won't just be the first humans to land on the lunar surface since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. They'll also be riding atop the biggest and most powerful rocket in NASA's history, which is built by Boeing. The SLS will stand taller than the Statue of Liberty when it's ready to take off from the launch pad with the crew of NASA's Artemis program, and almost 9 million pounds of thrust. It'll be powerful enough to carry 38 metric ton payload to the moon. So this is a picture of it right here that's being built currently. If I remember correctly here, this is supposed to happen already, what was it, next year?
That's soon anyways.
The SLS will be ready for Artemis 1 in 2021. This will be the first time the SLS will launch complete, with the uncrewed Orion space capsule on top, taking off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida for a 3-week mission around the moon. From there, NASA will prepare the lunar landing with Artemis 2 before taking its first crew to the moon with Artemis 3. Okay, so they're going to start testing this rocket, and then on Artemis 3, they'll actually put some people. But this is some pretty big news. When I was reading this, I was like, okay, they say it's the most powerful rocket, but I remember this BFR from SpaceX. They're always saying that's because it stands for big freaking rocket.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to mean big
yeah,
rocket.
Got
yes.
it, right.
So then I found this graph here, and it looks like the BFR is actually smaller than this SLS on the very right. But then you got SpaceX's ITS, which is the Interplanetary Transport System, I think it was called. That thing looks massive. But that ITS is the one they're actually going to take to Mars with SpaceX. So this SLS is going to go to the moon, but then SpaceX is heading for Mars. And then if you're interested about the ITS, if you're like, what the hell is that? I've never even heard of it. This is how it's actually going to work. They're going to launch the ITS, the booster returns to Earth. It then goes over to Mars with all the people, and then it can return to Earth on that same little spaceship there. Really interesting stuff. I'm really excited to see that we're having a space race again, but this time it's between private companies. And so that means it's going to get done a lot faster than normal. So yeah, we got Boeing, and we got Blue Origin, and we got SpaceX, and I guess NASA is also doing some stuff still. So
and then there's probably like foreign companies, right?
Yeah, and you have Europe,
Russia,
you have China. Yeah, I mean, there's
India,
some here. Yeah, you got Blue Origin. I don't know if they have the other ones on here. But yeah, there's China, there's India. There's a couple people trying to get into the space. I think it's really good.
Do you see any cons for that?
No.
No? Nothing?
Why? What would be the con?
I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, because
going to
you're
space,
into it,
man.
but do you see anything negative about it?
Flat Earth is going to get disproved, man.
I meant like the whole space
So
race.
that's a negative thing. It's going to make a lot of people really sad. That's going to be
So
unfortunate.
wait, you're telling me it's Flat Earth's not a thing?
Well, we'll be able to prove it soon, I hope.
I'm eagerly waiting.
Yes. All right, so let's move on to the first topic of news this week, and that is Maker News. This week in Maker News, I got some good stuff for you. Some really interesting things people have made over the week. We're always trying to look out for creators, people making things with their hands, doing stuff. And this week, we've got Let's Learn Something. It's this guy used a fridge compressor and turned it into a capable little 4-stroke engine. So he turned it into an actual 4-stroke engine. Never underestimate the power of a well-stocked junk bin, says Hackaday, along with a TIG welder and mechanical ingenuity bordering on the genius level, all which come to bear in this fridge compressor to a 4-stroke engine build. This video was posted by Let's Learn Something. It's really long, but watching at double speed doesn't take away from its enjoyment. Feel free to go look it up on YouTube and you can watch. But basically, he made all the parts he needed because this refrigerator thing has already a piston inside of it. So it's got the workings of an engine, but it doesn't have the valves. So you can take in air and then let out exhaust because you don't need that normally in a compressor. So he makes a whole setup to do valves, and when I read or watched through it, he used screws as valves for the intakes and the exhaust. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to check that out, it's on Hackaday. Fridge compressor turned into capable 4-stroke engine. They say here that there's been other people who have used these to make 2-stroke engines. So for the difference, a 4-stroke, when the piston comes down, you're taking in air, and then when it goes up, it compresses that air. Then you have a spark, which then shoots it down again. So that's a 3rd stroke, and then it shoots out the exhaust. Where then a 2-stroke, it does it in 2 motions. But those are a lot more dirty. You have all this oil and stuff coming in through. But anyways, that's a way easier engine. This one requires a little bit more ingenuity, some finesse. Actually, things that you got to get timed perfectly. But really interesting stuff. Where do the people find the time?
I don't know.
It's
I'm waiting for the chains. And I did this 5 years ago at X company.
Yeah.
No, we never had to take a refrigerator and turn it into an engine.
I had a startup.
Yeah, but really, really cool. Another one on Hackaday we saw this week. Jeffrey Burneth, and this is actually relevant to Surrogate. He made a CNC that can be controlled with his mouse. So you could imagine if you hook this up to Surrogate, you could let people draw with their mouse. That'd be pretty cool to draw over the internet. It's called mouse controlled. Mouse controller is silly but could be useful. Useless machines are generally built as a fun pastime, as they do nothing of value by their definition. The most popular type generally involves a self-canceling switch. However, there's plenty of other useless machines you can build, and this one is very creative. He used a Raspberry Pi to get to feed the G code from the motion of the mouse, and then it just plays it out onto the CNC. As you saw, there's a little bit of latency, but I mean, that's just how it is. You're controlling real-life stuff. But I think that could be pretty cool on Surrogate. If somebody wants to hook this up or learn more about it, you can go to Hackaday and look up this mouse-controlled mouse controller is silly. And now we'll move on to our next topic of news this week, and that is robotics news. It's a little bit hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
So take it all off, son. All right. This next news is it's very close to home, actually. It's titled Improved remote controls for robots.
Did you hear that?
Oy, oy, oy. Was that a sound thing? I thought that was you saying it.
It might be.
Oy, oy, oy. Oy, 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 boys.
Do you know who it was?
Was that Esco?
No.
Oh.
It was Mehdi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a French oy, 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 oy. All right, so this is from the University of Twente.
What?
Twente?
Twente.
Twente. Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes you need to get human knowledge and skills places that are hazardous or difficult to access for people. This project entitled Predictive Avatar Control and Feedback, PACOF. These people are, in these universities are always coming up with weird abbreviations.
They really are.
Is creating a robotic system that allows the robot operator to experience the location just as the robot does. 3 researchers representing the 3 different disciplines of the University of Twente's EEMCS facility are working together on this project. They talk about the delay, the PACOF project. The researchers will be focusing on the latter challenge. We can give the operator robotic arms that can control, but due to delays in the network, when the operator makes a movement, there is also a delay before the robot replicates it. And it says it makes controlling the system awkward, and it limits what you can do with it. These guys need to talk to us.
Yes.
Our delay is not that long. It sounds like they're having some crazy delay, where you move the robot and then you got to sit there for 10 seconds and then it does something.
We could help out the medical field.
This University of Twente should just handle the robot. We'll give you the software. We'll work with you.
Twente?
Twente?
Is that Holland?
It's in Norway, as far as I remember.
Twente? Okay.
And there's a guy named Felix. That sounds very Nordic.
Yeah.
Who's on the team?
Okay.
I think it's Norwegian, from what I remember.
Yeah, it is
here.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, a lot of people getting into this remote robotics controlling over the internet type of stuff. Of course, they run into the issue with, you know, sending a high definition video or even a low definition video with a low latency is very difficult. So that's what Surrogate does. We make it really easy for you to do that. So if you want to hook up some robots, get in contact with us and we'll help you out.
But just out of the context, from the image, why does this concept art always look like they're out of SCP universe? Just look at the robot face.
What's SCP universe?
Secure, Contain, Protect. Let's discuss that after the podcast.
I don't know. I was looking at this cartoon and that lady looks very uncomfortable.
Person in the bed doing?
Dying. I don't know. It looks very strange.
Yeah, like looks like there's what's going on?
It's like they took a bunch of different clip art from medical books and shoved them together.
Yeah, and
then there's like a lady in a TV, which I guess means she's remote.
Yes.
But why is she pulling down on like some weird things hanging off?
It reminds me of
weird things that are floating in the air.
Yeah, it reminds me of like this people who are in wheelchair, their bathrooms. You know?
Yeah, she's on the toilet.
Yeah.
She's pulling down where the
right?
The toilet paper comes out.
Or the string where you ask for help.
Oh yeah, the emergency thing. That's what I don't know. This is
There's a lot happening here that doesn't make sense.
Actually, that gives me kind of like Portal vibes with the like remote hands and.
But I don't know, why do they have them so far away from why does she have her arms stretched out?
Yeah,
that's
to control the robot. Is she gonna give a hug? Is that what the robot's gonna do? Is he gonna hug the guy who looks actually dead?
Is that guy in bed? Is he wearing a vest?
He looks like he's strapped down to the bed, upside down.
Is that?
No, but he's on his stomach. You can see he's on his stomach.
Are you sure?
Look at the feet.
Yeah, that's true. But then again,
face down.
But why is his back so curved? It's like he has a big belly.
He's hiding someone under him.
And how is that?
He's hiding his lunch they didn't eat, and they don't take it away.
The blanket.
They're always taking my food.
The blanket's physics don't even make sense either. How it's like on it.
Well, this doesn't look comfortable. Anyways, I guess this is still on topic here. But anyways, if you want to check more about this robot operating thing they're doing at University of Twente, you can check it out on techexplore.com. I'm going to say it wrong every time. Improved remote controls of robots. All right, and in other robotics news this week, came across this little robot here, or a concept of a robot. New system optimizes the shape of robots for traversing various terrain types. This is from MIT. MIT researchers have automated and optimized robot design with a system called RoboGrammer. The system creates arthropod-inspired robots for traversing a variety of terrains. Pictured are several three robot designs generated with RoboGrammer. So you need a robot that climbs stairs. What shape should that robot be? Should it have 2 legs like a person or 6 like an ant? These are questions. Choosing the right shape will be vital for your robot's ability to traverse a particular terrain, and it's impossible to build and test every potential form. But now an MIT-developed system makes it possible to simulate them and determine which design works best. So here's how it works. You start by telling the system, this RoboGrammer, not Instagrammer, RoboGrammer, which robot parts are lying around your shop. You tell it, okay? So you tell what's lying around your place, wheels, joints, etc. You also can tell what terrain your robot will need to navigate, and then RoboGrammer will figure out what robot you should have. This actually sounds really weird.
It does. It sounds. It sounds kind of lame. I'm sorry. Well,
so you have like a wheel and a broomstick, and then the thing's gonna figure out what robot you should do to go over the desert. Let me see if I can find some more.
There's like some end goal.
This is somebody's PhD.
Yeah.
Thing, so
there's like some end goal that we're not getting. That's to help save the world.
I understand
somehow.
what they want to do. It's like going to be some software that tells you how to make a perfect robot for every different terrain, using the stuff you have. But this sounds so conceptual, so abstract.
Yeah, a robot for the right terrain. Okay, but how big are I'm sure you can't have a robot that big and then a robot that's like 1,000 kilos that are exactly the same and what's I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, and they're saying that it's also going to be so that the robot will assemble itself with the stuff you have in your shop.
Randomly said, why does the top one have those missile launchers on the side?
Yeah. I don't know. Why do they have to look so weird?
It's actually going to Mars also. That's why it has missile launcher. No, okay, that's not true.
America.
So they said, let's say like in a video game, you wanted to generate lots of kinds of robots without an artist having to create each one. RoboGrammer would work for that almost immediately. Most designs did end up being 4-legged in the end. And he says, maybe there's really something to that. Well, yeah, that's called weight distribution. And
so are you telling me 4 legs is better than 6? For
as
most
a minimalistic,
terrains?
As a minimalistic thing, usually 4 is going to be your best bet.
When talking about
obvious.
game development, I can understand this because you can just get fastly reiterate different kinds of scenery bots in your sci-fi game, but any real life.
Okay, well here's what a mechanical engineer and computer scientist at Columbia University said. This work is a crowning achievement in the 25-year quest to automatically design morphology and control of robots. The idea of using shape grammars has been around for a while, but nowhere has this idea been executed as beautifully as this work. Once we get the machines to design, make, and program robots automatically, all bets are off. So I guess they're looking at a future where you just say, hey, I want a robot that can go to this place, and it generates the perfect robot for the terrain in front of it. So I guess there's something to that, but this doesn't exist.
Yeah, like you said,
this is a concept.
It's very vague and abstract.
This is I guess it's probably just a PhD thesis.
Yeah.
Going in depth on this, but obviously this is moving towards the future. It's good people are looking into this, but it's very far out, in my opinion. And in fact, okay, so let's go on to the next topic of news. That is game news. This week in game news, we got a lot of stuff to share with you. One of the ones that I was most excited about, because I'm a sort of a Sega fanboy. Actually, I'm a bit of a Nintendo at the same time.
Boomer.
Which is going to get me into some problems when I'm talking on Facebook groups.
Really?
I get into arguments with people. They're like, Sega's better than Nintendo.
Oh, no.
Nintendo. Wait, what was it? Sega does what Nintendo don't. Nintendo don't. It was a famous Sega thing.
Nintendo.
Yeah. Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Sounds like what's that movie?
I remember this
What's
poster.
James Franco movie? Hate us if they ain't us.
Hate us if they ain't us.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like, but he's actually saying hate us if they ain't us.
Yeah. Anyways, So this video came out. I got this off of GameSpot, but it's been on YouTube. I saw it. Sega reveals prototype Nomad handheld for the first time ever. In a YouTube video examining the history of Sega's consoles, the company showed the prototype to the Sega Nomad, which has never been revealed publicly before.
What?
It's super cool. Most of us are still stuck indoors for this long winter, and Sega is putting together some amusing videos in the style of a college lecture that teach you the history behind the former console giant. In the first talk, Sega producer Hiroyuki Miyazaki showed a prototype for the handheld Sega Nomad for the first time publicly. For those who don't know, the Nomad used Sega Genesis cartridges. We actually have one right over there. Used Sega Genesis cartridges, and you could play it as a handheld. The thing was crazy on the battery, as you can imagine. I don't know if S is going to find it or not.
He'll find it. Yeah.
I think we got it. Yeah, right over there. But anyways, this video, he's walking through all... Yeah. No, that's a Game Gear. Nomad should be somewhere. It's a bigger one. This video, he walks through how Sega was naming their consoles, and it was all after planets. So they had the Sega Saturn. They had...
what else did they have?
Neptune and all these other things. But anyways, yeah, this is a Nomad right here. If you're wondering, this is what they actually produced, and this is a Genesis cartridge.
And this is how we get them to work.
Well, that's the Sega Genesis, yes.
Kids don't know that nowadays.
But then he shows the prototype to this, which has never been seen before. So let me try to skip forward. I think it was at 11.
It's a Nomad.
20. See, on the board there, he's got like Venus, Earth, blah, blah. So he's showing the Nomad, which is the one we have right here. And now he's going to show the prototype to the Nomad, which came out right before this, which it could have been that design, but it ended up being the one that you see there. So that's it.
Oh, that's cool.
I ended it.
What'd you do?
I ended the video.
No! Go back. You can pause it there.
There you go. So that is what the Sega Nomad might have looked like.
That's the future.
Maybe it's the future Nomad. It looks like future material there. But as you can see, this was not like 3D printed or something. This was actually injection molded, from what it seems like. Injection molded case and buttons, and it looks very like finalized. And at the last second, they changed it somehow to the black one that you're familiar with.
Wait, you said injection molded, so how was this done?
Injection molded as well.
Okay.
But I mean, like here, they actually had to make the molds for that.
Yeah.
And they didn't have 3D printers back then. So it was an alternate reality. Maybe that was the actual console.
We could do these lectures in our office. We have all the consoles.
That's true.
We just
need a blackboard or a green board.
That's easy. We can get that, or a virtual one.
Yeah, but Sega's coming out with a lot of cool videos. They're all in Japanese, unfortunately, but it's going through all of the Sega history. Pretty cool stuff. If you want to check it out, you can go to GameSpot.com to read this article.
So what year was this? What are we talking about?
I do not remember.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's on the bottom there.
Negative.
Alex, you're being told to stop cartridge abuse. Don't blow in them.
Yeah, it's true. Because they,
I'm gonna keep doing
what's the word?
Saliva.
No, it's
saliva.
Like steel rusts. This does.
Yeah.
Oxidation. You get oxidation on oxidization.
Yes.
Crap, I don't know the word now. Oxidization.
Oxidation.
Oxidation.
Sounds better, but
sounds. Anyways,
yes,
you know what I'm talking about. And let's go on to the next part of game news. As everybody knows, because it's blowing up everywhere, Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out next week. And I found an article on The Verge that says you can play Cyberpunk 2077 on December 9th instead of the 10th, is what where it's announced to be,
so
depending on where you live.
Sorry, when again?
December 9th.
Hype!
Yeah, so this is let me just read the article over here. So the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 is just days away from its December 10th release. But depending on where you live and what platform you're playing on, you might get to play the game a bit earlier than you might have expected given the previous guidance. Developer CD Projekt Red shared exactly when 2077 will be available in a tweet on Thursday. If you're playing on PC or Stadia, you'll be able to start the game at 12 a.m. GMT on December 10th, no matter where you are in the world. That means, for example, if you live in the US East Coast, you can jump into the game on 7 p.m. Eastern Time on December 9th. So East Coast people are getting a pretty early release there. Like 5 hours earlier than everybody else.
I wonder how like VPN traffic is going to be on the East Coast.
True. Everybody's going to change their Stadia account to, say, Florida or New York so they can get to this correct time zone. But yeah, I really hope this game is everything that everybody's been hyping about. It's been hyped for so long. So many crunches, and then they're going to release, and then they stop, and then more crunches, and people are getting pissed off, and they quit, and then it's going to get released, and then it's delayed, and then blah, 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 blah. But here's a map showing the times. So if you want to see this map,
there we go.
You can go to The Verge. But this was released by Cyberpunk on a tweet. And so, for example, Finland, I guess we're going to be in that Warsaw time zone. So 1 a.m. That's the same as other people.
I think they're
But New York, 7 p.m. Los Angeles, 4 p.m. So actually, West Coast is going to get it even earlier. Or wait.
Is it too late?
Then you got to think of the time zone too, because I don't actually know which one's going to...
Is it too late to declare 3 days for next week?
Free days? Oh,
Holiday
3 days. You mean vacation?
Yes.
Free days.
Yes, yes. 3 days. Oh, interesting. What is that?
This is a day where you're free.
Yeah, but anyways, this is on PC and Stadia. So if you want to find these times, go to The Verge, check it out. I'm not promoting the this game. I don't know how good this game's going to be, but I love the styling of it, and it's been hyped like crazy. They better not let everybody down.
It fits right in with like Surrogate kind of brand, on brand.
This hyperwave, synthwave style.
But you got
this,
Keanu Reeves.
apocalyptic-
Keanu Reeves is in it. Big selling point. I read this earlier this week. There was a news that one of the developers or someone who kind of like checks the games, he played it for I don't know how many days, and he said he hasn't still played it through. He played it for like hours and hours, and he said he was not even close to completing it. So that kind of proves how long it is, the gameplay.
As long as it's entertaining long.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really bad feedback on Watch Dogs Legion. People hate that game. They're so bored, and they say it's so long, and everything is just boring. If you haven't seen Penguin's Zero on YouTube, he has a whole video about how boring that game is.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping with all the hype that
And
this
hopefully
is
it's not
really long and boring.
full of like hidden bugs that then players will end up finding. And
There's always going to be bugs, though.
I think
like Red Dead Redemption, there's hilarious bugs.
Yeah, and
so those are funny.
Watch Dogs also had it had so many that people just didn't want to play it anymore.
Are we even going to mention Fallout?
Yeah, I mean bugs I think are okay. But if as long as the game is good, people are okay with like Red Dead Redemption, great game, hilarious bugs that totally broke the entire thing, but people kept playing because it was really, really fun still.
I like the timing though. December 9th, I think December 10th they're ending Warzone, the Call of Duty, the old one that's out right now. So like the online play ends and you have to move to the new one. So you have to have the new game. I think that's what happens on the 10th.
Okay.
So I like how they've suddenly come out like, oh, we're just gonna put it out next week out of the blue. I haven't heard any release dates. Like we talked about this, was it last week? We had no idea when it's coming out. Most likely like next year, and now it's suddenly 9th.
Yeah.
So
December 9th, depending on where you are.
They need those Christmas sales though.
That's true. Got to get it in before the holidays.
Yep.
In other game news this week, this was tweeted and leaked, apparently. Let's just say this is a rumor, but it was leaked this week from a couple people who apparently work at Epic. They're going to be adding Master Chief and other Halo items to FORTNITE. So for those who know, this might be as close as we're going to get to Halo this year, because Halo has been delayed. Because the community saw a bunch of things they didn't like, so then Microsoft kind of just extended it indefinitely.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So Apparently, it was just...
They saw a trailer, or?
I don't know exactly what they saw. Maybe even gameplay. And it's just been delayed now again. That's why it didn't come out with the new Xbox. On the back of the Xbox, it even shows the Master Chief. Power your dreams. Master Chief on the back of that box. And there's no Halo with the box. I mean, it was supposed to release with Halo. But, of course, if it didn't release, they still had to release the box in time for holidays. So that's why... So Xbox doesn't have any exclusives right now.
No.
They have a couple things that are exclusive between them and the PlayStation. But... Yeah. But anyways, Halo's supposed to come out next year. But maybe in the meantime, you'll be able to play with Master Chief. Now, just a quick disclaimer. Being a designer, this would be really easy to fake. I know 3D and I know Illustrator and all that. I could make this in like a half an hour. So don't take this as gospel. This might be completely fake. Some others posted that there's going to be God of War theme stuff into Fortnite, which would make Fortnite sort of like a Super Smash Brothers of shooting games. But grain of salt, it might be completely fake. Just because of all the Halo hype. They just have a Halo guy in Fortnite. But anyways, that ends gaming news for this week. A lot of stuff. Let's move on to arcade news. All right. This week in arcade news, Dodonpachi True Death Exa label now available for arcades. Bullet hell shooter and Cave fans rejoice as one of the most recognizable names in the genre. Has made a return to co-op with the release of Dodonpachi True Death Exa label, the EXAA Arcadia platform. There is also a special limited edition version of the Exa board that comes with the game and some other DDP goods, although I hear that pre-orders are just about closed on that one. Apparently this game has done exceptionally well in location tests in Japan, easily landing in the top earning slots at or near the top. They're not sure if it's anywhere in the US or Europe yet in this article, but unfortunately a bullet hell style shooter is a tall order for success out of Japan, since most arcade goers these days prefer casual content. Yeah, that's true. In the West it might not perform very well, but I could imagine in Japan, as they say, that it's performing very nice. So this is a new arcade you can look out for if you're on a trip to Japan, if you're able to travel. Maybe go check this one out. Looks like it's nice to see at least people are putting some new stuff into arcades, especially during this Corona thing. It's got to be a hard order to put a lot of time and money into these things.
It's actually very surprising to see that arcades are coming out with new, but I hate
new stuff.
It's an industry that has to also thrive somehow, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they gotta be hopeful that when the Corona comes, they have some new things people can start playing, jump right back into it, and start generating revenue.
Yeah.
New guidelines are making that seem like it's going to take longer. I know in Finland now we have this lockdown again. People are working from home again and stuff, so this is pretty annoying.
There's a lot of happening in Japan, though, if I think about it. Like, there's that arcade, Nintendo World. It's opening.
Nintendo World's in Japan? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Or was it somewhere else?
I thought it was Japan.
Was it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm the Google guy, but I'm on the show right now.
Yeah, there's that Mario Kart roller coaster.
Yes, that one. And then, I guess, Olympics, is that a thing?
Olympics.
If people care about sports or whatever.
Yeah, and I heard, because Vlad, he lives in Japan.
Yeah.
I think they're going into another sort of lockdown thing. But at least in Japan, they're already really good. If you're sick at all, they always wear masks.
Okay.
That's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to make anybody else sick. Not just Corona, it's just always.
Yeah, it's the whole of Eastern
it's kinda nice.
Asia is like that.
So I think they're okay with it. But, yeah.
Universal Studios Japan opens at Osaka Theme Park.
Cool. So they're ready.
February 4th.
February 4th. Couple months. Go to Japan, go to Universal Studios, and drive a Mario Kart roller coaster. All right, let's move on to the next topic of news, and that is esports news. So this week I found an esports investment report. And apparently, In November, there has been 63.27 million investment into esports just in this past month. Apparently, though, it's down from 250 million in October, and then it was 150 million in September. So you saw a little bit of a peak, and now is it dropping down, or is it just a slow month because of holidays? But there's a ton of money going into esports. As we've been every single week, we're talking about these esports teams getting a ton of money, these tournament leagues getting a ton of money. People just building technology for esports are getting money and having all these different partnerships. Obviously, with Corona, it helped. It definitely helped.
It did.
People are playing games more than ever.
I'd like to see those numbers compared to other industries. You know, I'm sure gaming is still up compared to maybe some other industries, or like the drop off isn't as bad. That would be my prediction.
I don't know if this is even a drop off. This might just be
it might be end of the fiscal year or whatever, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So you know, they're kind of like closed out already.
or
all
are
investments.
investors just less likely to invest towards the holidays? They got to buy presents. They don't want to drop 20 million.
They've already used all their budget. It's end of the year.
Yeah, it's another thing as well. They have these cyclical funds.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for esports, it's blowing up. It's just blowing up, especially with the Corona.
Is there any information like who it's gone to, the money November, like how big investments, etc.? Was there anything
Yes.
breakdown?
Yes.
Because like one company could have got just 50 million.
So Blast got 1.7 million. Wrecked Global, we covered before.
Yep.
It doesn't say how much they got on this. A woman-led Queens Gaming Collective got 1.5 seed. Immortals raised 26 million alongside a Call of Duty franchise sale. Payments platform Edge received 1.5. I think we talked about them last week.
We did.
But it looks like the most went to this Immortals. And it says Immortals Gaming Club raised 26 million on a Series B financing. The organization plans to use the funding to grow its own Immortals team brand alongside Brazil's MIBR team brand and Gamers Club's competitive matchmaking platform. It's all these different tools to make esports stuff more accepting of all these different things. And more engaging and more fun.
Found this article, esportsobserver.com. Esports funds licensing and growth. During November 29th, it was 343 million invested a year back.
Wow.
A
Okay.
year back.
Yes.
Okay.
November 2019.
So this is actually lower than last year.
Yeah.
We had Corona this time last year. No.
Yes.
Well,
no, it was just
wasn't
starting in
yet.
China.
Yeah.
It started in China, was it November like 19th or something?
Yeah,
So,
but basically the lockdown started at the 2020
Yeah.
side.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't until
I wonder if that
February,
was
March.
ramping up for it, or if that was just completely unrelated that they got 300 in last year's November.
It's hard to say.
I'm
Begs the
guessing.
question. I'd like to see the full year graph
Yeah.
of how this.
Maybe we can get that for like a next week's episode or something.
Yeah, if I can find it. Unfortunately, this article didn't say anything about comparing to last year, because that's valuable information to know. Is
Yeah.
this a fluke? Is this expected? Is this lower than last year?
Well, I'm sure because like you know how they go, the funding that they do work on it for many months. So
Yeah,
you
it doesn't
know,
just happen out of nowhere.
Exactly. It's
so-
not like, hey, this month we have to do it, so let's give someone 50 million.
Yeah.
And one thing I highly think that has effect on this is that all esports events, like on location events, have been cancelled basically. True.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're getting ready, and there's a lot of people going into this like esports over the internet type stuff, which makes a lot of sense. In other esports news, Riot Games strikes a global partnership with Barracks. Riot Games has named Chilean technology company Barracks as an official partner for the publisher's esports competitions worldwide. Barracks provides player statistics for use during esports broadcasts with the aim of deepening audience engagement. The technology will be used in the United States, Latin America, Turkey, Europe, Oceania, North Africa, Middle East, Japan, Southeast Asia, and South Korea. Okay, the entire world. The collaboration will be rolled out across Riot Games esports teams on every continent, according to the release. Barracks technology will be first seen during Valorant's First Strike Global competition, which commenced yesterday and concludes on December 6th. Yeah. Gambling and esports has far surpassed the industry itself in terms of revenue, which is another big reason that the real-time data is such in high demand. This information also brings audiences closer to the action, much as traditional sports fans compare an athlete's stats to another. Okay, yeah. So they're able to gather the stats, I guess, very good, and Riot saw some opportunity, so they are partnering up to make it happen.
Isn't Riot Games the one that they specialize in League of Legends? But now you're talking about Valorant, right?
Gambling on Valorant.
Yeah.
Valorant competitions.
Yeah, they
with Riot.
Checked it, so they are specialized in League of Legends, but yeah, they have Valorant as well.
Yeah. So lots of partnerships every single week.
Yeah,
and there's
every
way
week.
more than this. I just don't bring up, 10 different partnerships because there is 10 different partnerships every single week. Something happening, someone's raising money. It's like a broken record, but it's nice. Something is happening in the gaming space, unlike arcades, which was every single week. This arcade shut down, that arcade shut down, this arcade shut down. So I stopped reporting on that, but it's still happening. I'm trying not to be so negative. I don't want to be negative every time. It's like, all right, now arcade news.
Arcade news.
This
Another
other
arcade
place
has shut down.
They're selling all their pinball machines. All the arcades are unloaded. Here's a picture of the guy crying.
Good news. Lots of
not good.
pinballs for sale, people.
That's you can look at the positives. There's a lot of pinball machines for
Get
sale.
yourself a pinball
Yeah,
and hook it up to Surrogate.
and do that too. Make some money off your pinball
There
machine.
you go. We are helping.
Speaking of Surrogate, let's move on to Surrogate news. I got it out of the portal. On Surrogate, we have had a lot of creators in the past weeks. You can see TGC Fabian, Tommy Boy, Mordecai. They've all hooked up games. You can go play right now, right on the Surrogate website. They created these themselves. It was not made by Surrogate, the platform. So we have an SDK. We have all the software that you need for the streaming and the controls. And you can just hook up your own thing. So whatever you want to hook to the internet, you can look to SurrogateTV. If you want to become a creator on the platform, you can click where that green arrow is, become a creator, and we will reach out to you and give you all the stuff you need to do to hook up a game. And you can even charge for the games if you really want to. We'll even allow you to do that.
Did we have Avengers last week?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the ones that are live right now, creators. But there's a ton more being tested right now.
Yep.
So we have, well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are because they're going to be surprises.
What kind of genre games can you tell?
Some exploration games coming up. There's some console sort of games here. Like you see like TGC Fabian and Mordecai. They hooked up a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo DS. So there's a lot more of these things in testing. They're just not released yet.
Soon TM.
Soon TM, but I do believe there's some things coming next week, and we'll tell you all about that next Friday. We had a hackathon this past week at Surrogate, where we were working for 4 days on a game we want to release for you all, and it is coming in around the next week. You don't know what it is. Do we want to give any hints on this? I guess it's kind of hard to give a hint on
Even
this.
I don't know what the game is gonna be.
You don't even know.
He doesn't even work here. He just comes here on Fridays and sits there and does the podcast and goes.
But yeah, so anyways,
Yep.
hopefully this will be released next week. We got a ton new features on the platform as well as a new game. So we built this game with the whole company, 21 people here. We put all of our effort for 4 days into making this game, adding some new features to the platform, and they're going to be released together hopefully at the end of next week. And I don't know, can we talk about...
Yes, apparently we can. I didn't.
Really?
Wait.
Really?
Wait. So, I'm pretty sure we can, but
You want to check?
I want to check.
Can you check with
I can
Mehdi?
go check.
Isn't he right there?
No.
Was he here a second ago?
Stan. No, he stands over there saying no.
No?
No.
Ah, come on!
You said we could.
Okay, Stan is
Stan-
coming
Stan-
in.
said
every
we
week
could.
I got a hint at this amazing thing we did.
They were asking the chat.
We need approval from that other company.
which we didn't get.
To say in like wherever we say it, we need approval from that company.
So we got to tell them where we're going to tell people?
So every time we mention it, if it's a different channel, different time, we have to ask permission, basically.
Mind blown.
Okay.
So we have to ask permission, and then we can tell next week.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Oh, jeez,
Also-
people. See
Yeah.
what we're dealing with here? We did one of the coolest things a few weeks back, and we want to share it, and I have a cool video and all this cool stuff to
What?
some huge celebrity, some huge company using surrogate technology, and we have to go boop.
I just read news
Every week.
New news on that celebrity too.
Okay.
Like, there was like some big news around him too, so I was like, oh, we can talk about it this week.
Yeah, okay, we can't.
No.
So next week.
Next week, hopefully, yes. Also, on the SumoBot tournament, we're gonna bring our rover today.
Okay, yeah, we'll,
I spoiled
we
it.
get to
No!
Wait.
we're not at SumoBots yet, Stan, thanks. Anyways, I will give you the hint again, like I do every single week.
They already know what it is. They've shared.
They don't
Okay,
know what
fine.
it is.
But they've shared. They no. They don't know what. They know what the hint is.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the hint again,
Yeah.
just so you guys see it.
All right, guys, clip the hint.
ready? You
clip
ready?
the hint.
Are you showing a big
'Cause
screen, or
he might slip. He might let
you
it go on
showing
for
a big
too long.
screen, or? Okay, there you go. Ready?
Damn it. Damn it.
Boom! I
wild.
thought I couldn't hit the button. I had to hit it twice. It almost went too far.
I had my finger on the transition button.
Just in case.
By the way, we had some chat questions quickly. There was
Okay.
a question from James Willinen. Oh, he's our player. Never mind. Oh, sorry. Is it a one player or one player game or multiplayer game? The one that you cannot tell any about that's coming that we made.
Technically, it is both.
Okay. Okay.
So wrap your head around that one.
It's not Batman 66 relaunch.
Yeah, we're relaunching Batman 66. No. Yeah, I
Everybody's
promise
in
it's something
chat
brand
saying-
new.
Everybody saw the chat there. The.
It was the
The.
something in a black smoky thing spinning. What can
The
that mean?
dog.
And
What
I
is
did-
the font? You maybe should look at pause the frame, get the font, and try to. I think you might actually be able to get something.
Someone's
close.
gonna somehow look back through what channels it's been sent through, like some data in the photo or something, and I don't know.
You probably could.
If you could do that, you get to find
Reverse
out what it
image
is, and
search
you get to
that.
keep that information because you did amazing.
Go to whatthefont.com and you can post the picture of the font and maybe even backtrack into where or what it is. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Anyways, this past week we had our Robot Explorer, which we have every single week. Robot Explorer is the weekly event every Wednesday where we drive a robot over a 4G network somewhere else in the world. So we've driven and bought in sushi, we've driven to the skate park, we've driven and picked up food and all these other
In the
things.
forest.
We went into the forest and actually lost our robot, and then we had to go at night and go find it. So this past week was no different.
Night. It was like 6 p.m.
Yeah, we'll finish night. 4 p.m. is pitch black. But anyways, this past week, we did our Robot Explorer around Helsinki. So we drove around the city, and this time we took so we have it's a Traxxas monster truck with a GoPro on it. And this week what we did is we put our Xbox box, you know, the new Xbox Series X box,
Like the box that it comes in.
the box that the Xbox Series X comes in. We stuck on there and we drove around and we had this loudspeaker and we're like, "Have you played the new Xbox? I'm an Xbox box," is what Stan kept yelling.
Yeah,
I'm an Xbox box.
box.
And everybody's like, "What is this?" But we actually got a lot of more interaction than we've ever seen driving around. Let's see if I
Hey,
can.
that's me and
Yeah, that's Alexi on the left. Essa,
Yeah.
social distancing. Not. Look at this distance
We
between
had
them.
masks.
They had masks. But we got a lot of people we were talking to. Like here, some very nice people stopped and we were chatting about Xbox versus PlayStation. Most people, amazingly, were saying PlayStation. So I don't know if we can say this is an official survey of Helsinki, but there was like one person who liked the Xbox more.
I did tell Stan that by that day that we did it, that PlayStation had sold double to Xbox, the new one.
Okay.
So, but Stan was like, "Where were you 10 minutes ago when I told him this?" Because he had just strapped on the box.
Okay. So yeah, we got some people chatting here.
And if you don't mention to anyone, especially Stan, we actually managed to lose the bot at one
Oh yeah,
point.
we lost it a few times. Yeah.
We lost you
yeah,
guys.
you guys were hauling butt, and there was no
Yeah.
way I was running around the center of Helsinki chasing a box. So
Yeah.
We
So
just
here's
had-
some more people we talked to. Red Cross people were talking.
there was a fun comment on Instagram. I don't know what his name was, but he came to say that it's all fun and games until the cops show up, and then
And there was cops already
and
there.
then I linked him the exact part where the cops show up, and I told him, and that wasn't the only time. They came twice, and neither times they cared. They were just
Yeah.
laughing in their car because we saw them.
Yeah.
And they
there's
were
the
just laughing
ambulance.
and pointing at him. And security guards, same thing. They stopped and stared, and they were just like, "This is weird."
Yeah. I mean, it's not illegal to be a robot. People need to chill.
We weren't hurting anybody.
So then we got into the mall. We were looking for a GameStop or something equivalent to that, like a game store, because we wanted to walk in and be like, "You got any Xboxes for sale?" So we did. We went after a long trip of trying to get into the elevator. We found this place called Consolit.
Console.net.
Consolinit?
So it's like console net.
Store.
Yeah.
Anyways, we walked in and we didn't even realize on our way in, but everything there was PlayStation. So when we asked the guy, "What do you like, Xbox or PlayStation?" He's like, "PlayStation. That's what we sell, PlayStation here." And we're like, "Oh, all right, we'll see you later."
No, that was hilarious because we stood outside, and before you guys saw it, there was just
You see the guys there? They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what the heck is this box coming in here?" We're just driving a box. It looks literally like a box.
because they had cardboard
wheels.
cutouts of like PlayStation advertisement all in front of the store. You guys didn't see it, and we were just like, this guy's going there going, "You want to buy an Xbox?"
We didn't even know what the store was. We thought it was a game store.
I
But it was
would've
all
said-
PlayStation.
I would have suggested that go in there like start arguing with the guys. They're like, "Xbox is better."
We didn't even know though.
That's what I
had
would
no
have
idea till
suggested.
we were
That
leaving.
would have been hilarious because you guys would have just been at it with them.
But the guy asked, he's like, "Are you guys from Microsoft?" So they thought it was like a stunt, like we're coming into the PlayStation store. Hey, we've got an Xbox.
Hey, Microsoft, ring up.
Yeah, ring us up. We'll do it again, bro. Then we went off and we talked with... Where is it here? Some guy on our way out was a little bit mad. He didn't like us.
Oh, that
You'll
guy.
see this guy.
Yeah.
I guess apparently he cursed at us.
Yeah, he yelled at you.
Somebody said some Finnish curse words.
Yeah, the guy who was dressed up in army gear.
Yeah, right here. You're going to see it.
Yeah.
So he saw us, this guy here on the right. And then we're going to go out. Or was that him? No, it's this guy on the
that's
left.
this guy, this
Boom.
guy.
That's him.
I'm going to stop you. And then he's standing in front of our robot
Yep.
trying to intimidate us.
Yep.
But we're an Xbox box.
Yep.
So we didn't care.
Yeah.
And then as we started driving away, the guy like screamed some Finnish curse words.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
much.
literally when we came to the situation, he was already shouting at the box.
Yeah.
And we were laughing.
We were just
Maybe we
laughing.
didn't even hear it. We were just like, "Ah, hey, sir."
No, we were just laughing. The man is yelling at a box.
Man yells at box.
Yeah. So I was just like, what are you going to do?
And then, so we then had a mission because everybody's asking us, what do you look like as a robot? So we were trying to find a mirror. So that was our like mission. After we found this game store, we're like, we have to find a mirror. So we started driving around, and we ended up running into some really awesome girl.
Oh, yeah. This is when
Where
we
is
lost
it?
you, and I had to find
Right
you through
here.
the stream.
So this, if you go full screen on this girl here, we just walked up and we're like, "Hello," and she was taking pictures, and then we just started chatting about Xboxes and games and stuff. And then we asked after a little while for her to take a picture of us, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm taking a video," and then she actually shows the video to us, and then we could see we're an Xbox box
You
with
should have
wheels.
told her to send it to
SurrogateTV?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
social media or something.
Let's see if I can go to the spot where she shows her phone. Oh yeah, right here. Boom, that's us.
How cool is
We
that?
are that box with the GoPro on top. And yeah, she was having a blast of it. We were having fun. It's just so nice. I like driving around and meeting people on the streets.
Well, especially when the interactions are like this. Cause
yeah, and it's just like, goodbye,
the
have a good
interactions
day.
were really nice compared to the other times we've been there. And I don't know if like our followers, people in our community have noticed, Finnish people aren't the most outgoing or like approachable, I guess is the word to say.
Yeah.
So when we started off, we were just saying with us that it's funny because anywhere else in the world, people would just probably try to run off with the box, or they would actually stop to talk and be like, "What is this?" But Finnish people, they just walk by, stare, and go like, "I need to make my bus. I don't have time for this box."
Right.
You know. And then we saw these interactions, and they were just really kind of heartwarming.
Yeah.
To see that people crouched down. It was cold. It was a really cold day that day. Also.
Yeah, and they actually stopped in the cold to just talk with this weird Xbox
Yeah.
box. But I did realize, though, that some reason this is more approachable than our monster truck. More people want to sit and talk to this than the monster truck. I mean, little kids we've had
Yeah.
who love the monster truck. They just stop and run after the monster truck. But this box was getting a lot of adults to just crouch down and start chatting. So making a robot that's more approachable, more friendly, I think is a good thing. Like, we're kind of moving in the right direction. Like, should we make a box that says something on it that's cool? Should we have a box that's shaped like a certain character?
We should try like social
We should think about
experiments.
that. Yeah. Like,
Maybe, like,
how many interactions can we get within an hour?
Yeah.
Looking like
In
this.
the future, we could consider putting something or asking them to, like, I don't know, give something, or I don't know, you know?
Like
Yeah, this is
tell
like
them
a
to
real
open
world-
the box and there is something inside.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see how trustworthy they are, but we'll always be there.
Well,
There's-
we've driven around with money on the trailer already,
Yeah,
and no one stole
no.
that.
But see, if people
Like
that's,
actual cash.
That's actually a funny thing because, like, if the community doesn't know, they've done these tests in the world of people dropping their wallets
Yep.
and seeing how many times out of like 10 the wallets get picked up, or 100, I don't know how many times. And Finland is right up there
Yep.
for the most returns. That pretty much like 9 out of 10 times Finnish people will return your wallet
Yep.
somehow to the cops or someone else. That we don't steal stuff like that.
Yeah, I've had ton of like I've left electronics on the train, and I don't even have to worry about it. I just go and I ask, hey, I left my laptop on the train. Okay, which one is it? Okay, is this
Yeah.
MacBook? And you're like, yeah, okay, thanks.
You just call up the
Yeah, they have it.
bus service.
No one's
that runs
taking
it.
your stuff here,
No,
so I guess
nothing.
no one's gonna steal our robot.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like a lesson in maybe robot interaction design. We could learn from these things, these experiments. What's like the closer to optimal robot aesthetics to make it approachable and friendly for people? The box, I think, has performed the best so far versus a normal monster truck or as a little rover. But we'll try to keep experimenting. It'll be fun. Let's move back to here. If we look at Sumo Bots over the past week, which is every Friday. So for those who haven't seen Robot Explorer, that was every Wednesday at 3 GMT plus 2, or in East Coast, it's 8 a.m. But Sumo Bots, Fridays at 7 GMT plus 2, 12 p.m. East Coast.
1 hour.
In 1 hour is going to be hosted today by Stan, who was just here. He's actually going to bring his dog. He got a new dog.
The chat has been asking every 2 minutes about the dog.
Okay, yeah, Stan got a new dog. So the dog's going to be hosting, probably have headphones on. Apparently it's got a little cough, a kennel cough, and it's like...
And we got those other things, I think. Who'd you say Jeff Man noticed?
Oh, the
Stay
beach balls.
tuned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, on Sumo Bots, the game itself, in the past week, we've seen Jeffman go from the top place down to 4th. And as I said last week, we saw the reemergence of Mordecai, and Mordecai is slowly inching up. Went from 10th to 9th, and Hunter went up from 4th to 3rd, and Wilburst dropped down to 2nd. Or sorry, Wilburst went up from 2nd to 1st, and Allsteady came up from 3rd to 2nd. So anyways, these are changing a lot, but Season 2 is on its way still. We're going to be ending it next month, where they're going to get prizes of Sumo Bots, like an actual Sumo Bot and some other
Don't we end
Sumo
it
Bot
this
related
month?
things. Oh yeah, sorry, this month. It's already December.
It's like, is this last weekend?
Anyways, it's ending.
Mordecai's gonna say something.
Ending quite soon.
Mordecai's gonna say something. But yeah.
Anyways, this is an LO system, so you can jump in at any time, and if you beat someone who has a higher score than you, you bounce up fast. So you don't have to keep grinding. You just have to beat somebody who's higher than you. So anyways, Friday, we have tournaments every single Friday, hosted this week by Stan, with prizes. So for the top 3 of the day, they get prizes, and this is for the season. If you look,
7 days left in the tournament, so yeah, 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days. It's last
7 days
weekend.
left. Okay.
So we got to get the games in because we're not on
So next
until
Friday
next
is
Thursday.
Next Friday, I guess, will be
Yeah.
the end.
So there's only, what, 4 days of games?
Well, get them on in.
But also, if there's no more Sumo Bots from you, I got to mention that it was Sumo Bots' birthday. The arena construction or completion
That's
of it
true.
this week. So the prizes relating that are going to be relating to that. So we might have something special.
For today.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
So
You can
stay
check
tuned
out
for that.
check out Sumo Bots at 7 p.m. finish time, GMT +2, or noon East Coast US today, which means in 1 hour it's going to be live. You can win some cool 1-year anniversary prizes. If we look at Surrogate as a whole, the Surrogate created games, these are the top spots right now. In Batman, we got Lunar Braxton, Robin, and Alcity in the top. In Race Real Cars, we got Kevnik, Copycat, and Ash. In Oktoberfest, Pruned is still on top with Alcity and KLM just behind. Sumo Bots, as I said, Wilburst is in the top spot right now, followed by Alcity and the Hunter. And in Mario Kart Live, Randomy and Jeffman have been having a intense battle.
I don't get those two.
They're just swapping first place, aren't they? Jeffman was first place, and now Randomy's first place, and they're only off by fractions of a second now. Randomy with the 131.504 and Jeffman 132.345.
That being said, that was the Wednesday was the end of Mario Kart Live 1 month long tournament, so those were the final 3 winners.
Yeah, so they won some prizes.
Yep.
Well, and then what were they? They were the Mario Karts. themselves.
First place Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, second place Mario Kart RC Car, and third place merch.
So now that the
Merch.
tournament's over, what's the schedule like? So for those who still want to come and race, because you can still try to get top times.
We
right?
are still finalizing the schedule, but we will be at least 3 days a week. Plus, we might have something coming for a community for those who want to host games for themselves. Stay tuned.
There you go.
All right, if we go to the top clip of the week, this was submitted by Shaba. This was actually during my hosting session of Sumo Bots last week on Friday, and it's titled Epic Duel Between Shaba117 and the Hunter for the Friday Tournament. So check this one out. It was probably one of the most intense battles. So they're trading back and forth, dodging each other's attacks, going super close to the edge. You think they're going to jump off the edge almost every single time, and they just keep pushing, getting close to the edges. And you'll see when that red bot gets the orange right here, the orange spins away off the edge. They keep going back, and then right here, Shaba was pushed off, drifted off the edge, but couldn't maintain traction and fell off.
Who was that orange bot?
I think it was the Hunter. Yes,
The Hunter?
the Hunter and Shaba.
I call that pulling the chair. When they do that, when they're getting pushed
Spin.
out and then they spin around, you
No.
pull the chair from under
Call
them.
it jujitsu. That's what I call it.
Why?
Because that's what jujitsu is. You're using the momentum
You're
of the
using the
other
other person's momentum
Yeah, so
to.
you're-
Yeah.
But yeah, really, that was a really cool.
Vote in the chat. Which name is better?
It's Jiu-Jitsu. It's in the original marketing
It's in the
material.
video. Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to make a thing here.
Pulling his chair.
Not allowed.
Anyways, if you got some cool
not on
clips from
brand.
any game throughout the next week, you can post them on our Discord, which is discord.gg/SurrogateTV, which you see here, in the hashtag Surrogate Specific Media. And for next week's podcast, I will go through those and pull my top 3 clips, and I will show them here on the podcast with your description. That will end this week's podcast. We're episode 10. 10 episodes in. That means 10 weeks so far we've been doing this. Hope you guys have been enjoying. Hopefully this is getting a better system. I like now that we're doing the communication thing. It's not just about the news. It's communicating around the news. I think we've been getting a lot of good feedback on that. If you have any other feedback on the podcast so we can continuously improve, let us know in the Discord. Reach out to either me or Alexi or Stan, and we'll look into moving forward and improving.
Yeah, like you guys are a big part of this, and we want you to be part of it. So we are doing it for you guys.
Yes. Without further ado, that is the end of the podcast. See you in about 1 hour, less than an hour. You'll have SumoBot's hosted tournament with Stan
And Dogo.
and his dog, and you're going to win some cool anniversary prizes. Until that, or with that, until next week. What are you looking at?
Behind you.
Stan's here, but you can't see him.
Wrong window.
Wrong window, Stan. Get with the time, Stan. You're in the wrong window.
There we go.
There he is.
Anyways.
Just
This is
just
our
ignore
office.
him, people.
Everybody's bothering everybody else when they're trying to do something. All right.
He didn't want to be part of this. Now he's been behind the window the whole episode.
Yeah, he didn't want to be on the podcast today, but now he's on the podcast.
He was busy.
Constantly. All right. So anyways, see you all next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Have some cool games with SumoBots. Check out the new creators games. They're making them for you. And I will see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.